I'm back at it again working on the Subaru. So today we're going to be doing something that I wanted to do since the first day that I bought the car, and that is an exhaust. And not just any exhaust, but the loudest and cheapest Catback I could find on eBay. It was $108.38 and it's made by the same companies that make all those headlights you see everywhere, Spec-D Tuning. The Catback arrived in a pretty big box and it was separated into two pieces, just like the original exhaust. The packaging was pretty good and there wasn't any damage from shipping, so that was also a plus. Once the car was up on jacks and secured, I started pulling off the old exhaust. I started at what I'm going to call the mid-pipe. Not actually sure if it's called the mid-pipe, but I'm going to call it the mid-pipe for this part of the video. It was simple, just removed the two bolts that hold it on to the mid-pipe. Next, I started to pry the exhaust off these rubber exhaust hangers. Once the old exhaust was off, that's when things got interesting.
So, this is a bit of an interesting predicament. Now, as you can see, the exhaust hanger is hooked up. This is the right side of the pipe, as it follows that bend perfectly. But when you come along to the front bit, the flange is rotated in the wrong direction. And it's too short. So yeah, my day's going pretty well. It's less than convenient. Not too sure how to remedy this, to be absolutely honest, as in I really don't know what to do. I can cut and weld it myself, but that's going to be a pain in the ass. But then again, I did spend $100 on Catback exhaust, so I should have expected something like this to happen.
Let me clarify a few things. This is not the fault of the company that makes this exhaust. If we take a closer look at the ad, you can see that it says for WRX or STI. My car is neither of those, instead it's closer to an RS. When I went to look for the RS exhaust, they were about $400, so this seemed like a worthwhile option to check out. So after some time of talking with the homie, Seg13, he recommended that I take the Subaru to an exhaust place and just have them cut and weld it. And that's what we did. We went to Best Muffler Shop, which is kind of in the hood, and for another $108 they cut it up and put the exhaust on the car.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go over like a few basic things about how the exhaust is holding up so far. It's actually pretty good. I mean, if you can hear it in the background, it's got this really nice deep like well, just listen. I don't want to rev it because there's a cop like 2 cars away from me. But if you can hear it, it sounds pretty good at idle. And okay, so what actually happened for the exhaust? I took it to Best Muffler Shop, and rather than using the actual kit that came with the car, or that came with the kit that I bought online, they used their own little custom setup. So they got 3-inch DOM tubing. They cut off the flange from behind the mid-pipe and then welded it their own little custom thing with the resonator and the muffler that was included in the kit. And I don't know if that's why it sounds so deep and rumbly, which sounds awesome, or if my car is just running really weird. I'm not too sure. It could be either or. But overall, it sounds amazing, and it's so loud. But there are people constantly everywhere just looking at me every time I pull up somewhere. That's just 3,500 RPM. One thing I'll point out is that there is a fair bit of drone, and it does wear on you, but it's not that bad, because when I bought this car, I bought it with the express intent of it being a fun car. Like, this isn't my daily driver at all. My daily driver is a little Nissan Leaf electric car. And I will admit there is some vibration being caused by the exhaust. Actually, at some point, it sounds like you're in like an older prop-driven aircraft, the way it sounds. Just listen. So this is on the highway at about 2,500 RPM, going 60 miles an hour. It really does sound like an actual aircraft from like smile on my face from driving this car. Like, that alone is worth the $216 or so whatever I spent on this exhaust. I will say that there is some weird rattling sound coming from the back when I get over a certain RPM, or like between a certain RPM. I don't really know what it's from, but it's kind of annoying. I think it might actually be the license plate or something just rattling back there because of the resonance of the exhaust pipe. I'm going to put some exhaust clips in of this car right after this. And the one thing I don't like about what they did is the muffler does seem to sit a little bit lower than it would normally. And that does affect my ground clearance a bit, especially since this car is mainly meant for off-road use. There it is, if you can hear that rattle. It only comes up about 2400 RPM. It's something back there rattling with the exhaust. There it is. At a later date, if I do end up, if this exhaust does end up negatively affecting my ground clearance too much, I will go back and I'll ask them to just raise it up just a bit, because it's about an inch or two lower than it should be. I know that's going to really mess with my departure angles. I mean, there is quite a bit of drone, but for the sheer volume of this exhaust, I mean, it's kind of acceptable. I mean, you can't really have an exhaust this loud that it can be heard like a quarter mile away, probably more actually. This thing can probably be heard almost half a mile away from wherever the car is. And to have that loud exhaust and not expect any drone is a little unrealistic if you ask me. But the drone is tolerable for short drives. I did drive this car with open headers for about maybe 40 miles. And when I first got in the car while driving it with open headers, my hands were actually shaking after driving it for a bit. So it's nowhere near that bad. But I feel like after about maybe about a 100-mile drive, you're definitely going to notice a significant reduction in your ability to hear things. I think I might add some sound deadening to the car as well. I know it seems kind of counterproductive to put a loud-ass exhaust on your car and then put on sound deadening, but it might actually be at that point where it might be necessary. Okay, so this exhaust also comes with a silencer, but I lost the 2 screws that hold it in. Right? And I'm fairly sure that no one's actually ever going to use this exhaust with the silencer, so I'm not even going to bother to waste the time to find it. That being said, I am really happy with the way this thing turned out. It's loud, it sounds awesome,
And that's about it. It does stick out quite a bit in angle, but I think that kind of looks cool. This is like the car that I get to do all the stuff I wanted to do as a kid, which I never got to do because I bought a sensible car. But anyway, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see some more, hit subscribe. And do whatever else you guys do on the internet. Oh, if you have any suggestions of what I should do, hit me, comment that down below too. Next video is definitely going to be of me fixing that mirror. That one right there. I do have the actual mirror in the car right there, so, or the replacement mirror.